Hello everyone. We're coming to the end of our videos for training on the flight simulator. In the earlier videos you learned to fly fixed wing, which is left hand dominant, turning on the tail. In some other videos, another video, you might have learned some aerobatics. You might have learned how to fly a tricopter, which is right-hand dominant. So today we're going to move on to the quadcopter, the copter that most everybody is flying in agriculture. But that doesn't mean you won't come back to fixed wing soon. Fixed wing is the future. So don't be surprised that you need to learn fixed wing first. It's the hardest thing to learn. Quadcopter is way too easy. So we teach fixed wing first, we move to quadcopter. But let's talk about something here on the fixed wing. When you go to the field and you work with one of the trainers in the field, you will, before you even fly, you'll do a pre-flight check that allows you to look at your airplane and roll. Notice I'm rolling with my right stick. Notice my ailerons are going up and down. Pitch, notice the elevator is going up and down, up and down, up and down. And yaw, notice the rudder is going left and right, left and right. Now we can do that. Notice the front wheel. Let's reset that and bring it right next to you here. And notice that the front wheel moves with the rudder. So we roll, x-axis, pitch, there's the elevator, y-axis, yaw. Notice the front wheel moves with the rudder. That's how we steer when we're on the ground. We can do a pre-flight check and check our surfaces before we fly a fixed-wing aircraft. We can't do that with a quad. We have to do that flight check while it's in the air. So that's one of the first of two things we're going to teach you in quad flight. So let's get set up for the quad. First thing we need to do is we need to choose the Quadcopter X. This is not the classic mode. This is a Quadcopter X. It is not the classic. That is not the Quadcopter X either. So depending on which software you have, the Quadcopter X is actually in the first menu of the 9.5, or it will be in all menus for the 7.5 and higher, up to 9.5. This is the Quadcopter X. Do not choose the Classic. Do not choose the Classic. You will choose the Quadcopter X. Okay? That's our aircraft. And let it load. We also need to have our flight modes on. Our radio, our binocular, and our flight modes need to be on. And the flight modes are found usually in the upper left-hand corner three-way switch. You look for a three-way switch. That will teach you your flight modes. Loiter is the mode we train in. Before we train, let's make sure that our scenery is on, our effects, our sky grid is on. More importantly, we need to make sure our physics are realistic. You cannot fly the quadcopter and yaw in the beginner mode. We also need unlimited fuel. But if we go back to realistic, you'll see that we'll lose our fuel. So just choose realistic and choose your fuel and you'll be fine. But you must be in realistic mode first. All right, so that's a Quadcopter X. We are in realistic mode with a high level of difficulty. What will control the difficulty is look down in the bottom right-hand corner, and we'll control the modes. In a moment, I'll explain the modes. But let's talk about what we would do if someone walked up to you and said, here's my quadcopter, give it a try. If you have any common sense, you will assume you don't know that quadcopter. And the first thing you'll do is what's called a 5-foot throttle test. A 5-foot throttle test. And it's simply this. Our aircraft is going to thrust upward on the throttle. Some aircraft will begin taking aloft, winds aloft, at 10% throttle. Others will not go aloft. Here I am. Notice my left stick. Notice my left stick on my radio transmitter down here in the corner, notice that my left stick at 50%, the throttles are spent, the propellers are spinning, but my aircraft does not take aloft, winds aloft until I go to about 52%. All right, so we take it up 5 feet and we loiter. We just hold it there. Okay, then we exercise the throttle and get used to its response. How does that aircraft respond? We do not fly an aircraft until we know how that throttle responds, because DJI, you can turn the some throttles on as low as 10% and it will go aloft. Okay, so be very careful here. The first time you ever try an aircraft, make sure you understand how it goes aloft. This is a 5-foot throttle test. Everyone will be expected to be able to do that. Let's talk about the modes. Loiter mode has a GPS lock on it, so the aircraft knows the vertical altitude and the horizontal position. And I'm going to turn up the wind by tapping the page. Look down below the radio transmitter. I'm going to turn up the wind and notice that the aircraft is trying to stay in place. Just turn down the wind to about 3 miles an hour. If I put it in alt hold, if I put the aircraft in alt hold, I'm loitering here. I'm in loiter. Now I'm going to put an alt hold. You'll notice I'll hold my altitude, but I will not hold my horizontal position. I'm back in loiter again, and it holds against the wind. So alt hold will keep your altitude steady, but it will not keep you in a horizontal place. Finally, stabilize, which is a very counterintuitive word, basically does nothing for you but let you fly free flight. And you see how overly responsive the throttle is. Stabilize is for advanced modes. Alt hold is, typically we train in loiter mode. We teach students to start their aircraft every time in loiter mode and do the tests, the airworthiness tests, then go into alt hold and then go into autonomous mode, and the aircraft will take over. Advanced pilots may fly in stabilized mode. All right, back in loiter mode. So we have GPS lock, horizontal, vertical position. All right, that was a 5-foot throttle test where I accelerated, brought my aircraft up, stopped, exercised my aircraft so I knew how that throttle responded in loiter mode. All right. Now the next thing to teach you is the up and out 50. When we're flying, we never test the aircraft for airworthiness next to us. And you notice I've shut my throttle off. Look at the flight transmitter, radio transmitter over there. And I always take my foot off the brakes, take my foot off the gas pedal, take my foot off the gas pedal when I come to a stop. I don't leave my vehicle in throttle mode. I shut it off. All right, so now, in order to test for airworthiness, I need to get up 50 feet and out 50 feet. Up and out 50. So in order to do that, I'm going to throttle up, but I'm going to pitch away. And I'm going to make a diagonal line for that tree. I'm going to get about 10 feet above that tree. All right. Now this is a place I can test for airworthiness. Let me go ahead and shut my wind off. Now, roll, pitch, and yaw, just like on the fixed-wing aircraft. Roll to the right, roll to the left. Get back to that tree. Pitch forward, pitch backwards. Get back to that tree. Yaw 180 degrees to the left. Yaw 360 degrees to the right. That's the front of the aircraft there. And then again, yaw 180 degrees to the left. Now, this airworthiness test is done every single time you fly. Every time you take off, every time you change a battery, you will do an airworthiness test. Okay, it is required because you can't fly an aircraft if you don't know if it's airworthy. All right? So we did a 5-foot throttle test, and we did the airworthiness test by taking it up and out 50 feet in a diagonal line to the top of that tree, and we rolled right, left, pitched forward, backwards, and yawed left, and right. And we always do it the exact same way so that we have some way to gauge the behavior of the plane. You need to know how your plane is behaving. And so you do things consistently the same way every time. All right? That's the first thing we learned. Now that we're in the position to start training, the first thing we're going to do is learn how to do a square 8, nose in a cardinal direction. So I am looking away, my nose is away from me. I'm looking at the butt end of the plane, the tail, and I'm going to pitch forward 20 feet and stop. I'm going to roll right 10 feet, which is about half a grid, and stop. I'm going to pitch back 20 feet to get back to the tree and stop. I'm going to roll left 10 feet and stop. Then I'm going to pitch forward again 20 feet and stop. I'm going to roll left 10 feet. I'm going to pitch back 20 feet. And I'm going to roll right 10 feet and get back to the tree. Now the nose is out. This seems very logical. What we're going to do next is yaw 180 degrees so the nose is in. We're going to do the same routine in the same directions, but you're going to notice a distinct change in my language. Watch this. I'm going to pitch back 20 feet. I'm going to roll left 10 feet. Oh, you say, that's right. No, that's left. Pretend, look at the binoculars and pretend you are looking at the airplane and you're looking at a pilot in the airplane. Where is that pilot's left arm? It's on the left. So when I say pitch left, I mean the way the stick is moving. Excuse me. When I say roll left, I mean the way the stick is moving. Notice my stick. Notice my right stick. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to pitch forward 20. Stop. Now I'm going to roll right back to the tree. And that is right. My stick went right. And that is the pilot's right arm. Look at and pretend there's a pilot in that aircraft looking you straight in the face. I'm going to pitch back 20. I'm going to roll right 10 feet. I'm going to pitch forward 20 feet. And I'm going to roll left 10 feet. That is a square 8, nose in a cardinal direction, nose in. All right? So it seems like it's backwards, but it's not. It's actually the directions are now the dominant wing in motion. And it's very important you know that. All right, I'm going to take the aircraft out. Now that you can do square 8s backwards and forwards, you should be able to do a square 8 nose in the direction of travel. And this is very simple. Pitch forward 20 feet. Stop. Turn yaw 90 degrees right. Pitch forward 10 feet. Stop. 90 degrees right, yaw. Excuse me. Pitch forward 20 feet. Stop. Yaw 90 degrees right. Pitch forward 10 feet. Yaw 90 degrees right. Pitch forward 20 feet. Not a very good pitch. 90 degrees left. Pitch forward 10 feet. Stop. 90 degrees left. We'll give it some altitude here. It's kind of falling out of the sky. Pitch. Now notice we're always squaring the aircraft. Pitch forward 20 feet. Stop. 90 degrees left. Pitch forward 10 feet. And stop. Nose out. Okay, that's a square 8, nose in the direction of travel. It's on your list of things to know. The next thing to accomplish is really quite simple. Really simple. Smooth figure 8s. Now, the funny thing about that is, you notice how my aircraft drifted upwards. It's because there's a tendency of humans to throttle up when you're turning. That's called throttle drift. The trick about turning a quadcopter is you've got to turn the tail, but always keep the front leading. The right stick is always leading. You will find that one direction circle will be harder than the other. And that's because our brain does not perceive the motion easily on both sides of the brain at the same time. But you will get better at it, okay? So practice your figure 8s, smooth figure 8s. All right? Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And remember, when we're bringing an aircraft home, if it's within 200 feet of us, we always bring the aircraft backwards. We never bring an aircraft to us. We never bring an aircraft to us front ways. We say red is dead. And on our aircraft on the campus, we always put red tape on the front of the aircraft so that people know that you're driving an aircraft, you must bring it tail first. Now this makes total sense, because let's say the aircraft misbehaved. I'm gonna get up and loiter here. Say the aircraft misbehaved and it's pointed outwards. If I'm frightened, I can just push it away. But if my aircraft is pointed towards me and it's flying home and I get frightened because it's acting stupid and I push it towards me, it's going the wrong way. We always bring an aircraft home backwards. And to share with you what these aircraft that we build on campus look like, this is an example of the drones we teach students to build. We build these drones in the drone build class, which is Egg Flight 3. This is a commercial class copter. We buy the parts online at eBay and Amazon, and we teach students to solder the parts together, program the aircraft for autonomous flight, and fly it for missions in agriculture. But you'll notice the front of the aircraft is red. Look at the aircraft on my hip. The back side of the aircraft is green. All right, red is dead. Red is dead. If you see an aircraft flying at you, red is dead. We always want the aircraft flying close to us, within 200 feet, in green mode. All right, there's one more video and we're done. Thank you.